Chapter 3 analyses the strategic environment, which is the first task of both prescriptive and emergent strategic processes. In addition to the material in the book itself, the open access website for Chapter 3 has additional material. There's a summary of 6 political and economic trends that have affected strategic management. There's more depth on analysing the role of government for strategy environmental analysis. There are 10 questions to help identify key factors for success in an industry, and there's also a section exploring the nature and intensity of competition in an industry. And now to Chapter 3 of the book itself. It's useful to explore this strategic environment using 10 separate headings. To understand these concepts, we can take an example of environmental strategic analysis from case 3.3 on the global steel industry, focusing particularly on ArcelorMittal, the big European-based steel company. The first area for strategic environmental analysis is market basics. Looking at this for steel, we can see that ArcelorMittal has the largest market share in Europe, but only a very limited market share in Asia. The Asian market is continuing to grow, but the European and American markets at the present time of recording this in 2011 are essentially static or declining. ArcelorMittal therefore has a strong brand market position in Europe, but it's not necessarily a global company. And that's one of the things you might want to explore further in case 3.3. One of the issues here is how you define the market for steel products. Is it one global market, or is it a series of regional markets like Europe? Market definition is crucial to strategy environmental analysis. Turning to number 2 on the degree of turbulence, the steel market has become more turbulent as the world economy has declined. But it's not necessarily true that the market is highly turbulent like some internet markets with much higher degrees of uncertainty. Therefore, turbulence in steel is somewhere around number 3 compared to perhaps number 5 for parts of the internet market and number 1 for the market for chocolate products, for example. Number 3 is green strategy. There are 3 main components. 1, government legislation and directives. 2, business opportunities. And 3, customer and value chain issues. Steel companies are heavily regulated by governments, but there are still business opportunities for companies to develop new business areas. Number 4 concerns the background factors that influence the competitive environment, often called the Pestel analysis. And here you should know that Pestel is simply a checklist. It has no underpinning logic, unlike, for example, 5 forces analysis, which does have an underpinning logic. This is important in strategy because the lack of logic makes it difficult to structure a Pestel analysis. In practice, the background factors that will influence steel include politics, where governments are very concerned with national steel industries, economics, with the current downturn in world steel demand, at least in the West, technology, which will also be an important factor because of the need to find and make specialist steels having much higher profit margins. Looking at number 5, the industry life cycle, the evidence shows over time that the steel industry is growing and then declining, growing and then declining. Therefore, it is in a cyclical phase. With regard to number 6, key factors for success in the steel industry, economies of scale will be very important and are described in case 3.3. Also, energy costs such as coal will be an important key factor for success because of the high energy usage in steel making. Green strategy will also be important here. Looking at number 7, the 5 forces analysis, we need to analyse the market power of each of the 5 elements. For this video, we focus on 2 elements. Steel buyers, including car companies and construction companies, are very important in the steel industry because such buyers have strong bargaining power through the large quantities of steel that they buy from the steel companies. In addition, suppliers of coal and iron are also strong with regard to bargaining power with the steel companies because coal and iron make up a high percentage of the total costs of producing steel, and there are relatively few suppliers of coal and iron ore. Number 8 focuses on cooperation with the 4 links analysis. For steel, links with national and regional governments who are anxious to promote national steel companies are extremely important, especially in Asia. There may be other factors as well. Number 9 is an analysis of some immediate competitors. ArcelorMittal will be undertaking this task all the time in practice. They will examine the competitive strengths of rivals such as Chorus in the UK and Netherlands. For example, looking at the Chorus acquisition activities and the Chorus investment in new steel plant. Number 10 is customer analysis. There are some very obvious segments within the steel industry, for example, basic steels and specialty steels. But even within these segments, there are smaller market segments that will allow steel companies to position their products against their rivals. And there are more details on all of this in case 3.3.